Yes, thank you, Chair. Sorry. Yes, and welcome, Commissioner. I'm glad you're here this morning. First of all, Commissioner Timmermans has announced that in the new interinstitutional agreement, he will include a clause saying that if the European Parliament requests new policies or legislative initiatives, that the Commission will either follow that recommendation or explain why it doesn't. I think that's a good thing, because the Commission has that obligation when it comes to a citizens' initiative. It should have the same obligation in its relations with the European Parliament. There are three issues, two of which have already been mentioned here, which have been repeatedly requested by the European Parliament. One is the repeal of Safe Harbour, which has been almost unanimously requested. Two is an LGBT roadmap or strategy or action plan, in any case something, a coherent package. And the third one is the evaluation of counterterrorism policies. So I do hope that the Commission is going to include these measures in her work programme. Second point, one of your priorities is the horizontal anti-discrimination directive. I know that that is largely in the hands of the Member States, but you have announced when the Commission took up office last year that you would push very hard for that to be adopted. So what is the state of play? And then finally, 2 points that I would like the Commission to include in its work programme. One is something like a framework or mechanism for assessing annually in all Member States the state of democratic governance, the rule of law and fundamental rights. I don't have to say that we are eternally discussing one particular country. We've also had debates about other countries in the past. We really need to move on, and Parliament has, and I think this has been echoed in different ways by all the political groups, we need a mechanism to assess all the Member States. And then the second thing is, you know that there in a number of Member States there's a system called Amber Alert or Child Alert, or it's for missing children. It's a kind of voluntary initiative, but it needs to be underpinned by good exchange of information between police and judiciary. And I hope that the Commission, which the Commission has announced already years ago, that it would investigate the options for a legislative initiative, and I hope that the Commission will include this in its plans as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now Mr. Chrysogonis for the GUE group.
The LGBTI roadmap. There were two questions about this. I will answer them together. Personally, I don't understand why there should be a problem, but I'm discussing this with my colleagues. I don't know why there should be a problem to prepare the action plan or the roadmap in the course of this year. There are three clear priorities for me. One of them is finalizing or concluding legislation which would help the LGBTI people. Here I'm talking about the Anti-Discrimination Directive. Secondly, we must survey the problems in the Member States in the lowest levels, and we must analyze and assess where it is more effective to come up with a new legislation and where it is better to raise awareness, to conduct campaigns and to cooperate with the NGOs. In these weeks, I work on the review of the way of making use of about 52 million euro by DG Justice. And I think that there will be a large support of the civil society, because where Commission or Member States with their hard legislation can't do anything, these are fields where civil society bodies can do a lot with their well-targeted campaigns. So coming back to the LGBTI action plan, I think that there is no problem in coming up with our policy this year. There is no problem in putting it on paper this year and to exchange views with you, with Sophie, with Mrs. Lunacek. We can talk about whether this will bring a positive move forward. Later, I will negotiate in the College of Commissioners, of course, and we must make clear whether it's an action plan or a roadmap or a strategy, because we're not clear about the terminology yet, but we haven't stopped our work. We keep working on. We will have a new leadership of the Fundamental Rights Agency in Vienna. I am looking forward to working with new data, and I'm looking forward to the result. And I'm very happy about the Irish referendum, to answer that question. I think this is a very good news.